Now we move on to costing the production of our assets that we sell, and here I've provided you with links to sites that can just give you a generic costing for the types of things you're going to do. So we have a sign calculator, so to calculate the cost of producing the signs that we're going to sell to our sponsors. We come up here, outdoor banner sign, let's make it a colour bond, and we'll say 3 metres by 1 metre, and it gives us a price of $595. There we go. Or you can adjust that to whatever other types of signs you like, whatever you want to use, but it just gives us something that we can use. Obviously in the real world you'll have a very specific price that you quoted, but this will do for our purposes. So that's our signage one. When it comes to things to do with hospitality, marquees, pretty common. This site here gives you prices that you can use for calculating the hiring of your marquees. We can go right up to really big fancy ones, 2,300, from smaller ones. And there's pretty much anything else you could want there, and if it's not there, you probably don't need to be costing it. So that's for all our hospitality marquee type hire. And then we have cuisine. This is cuisine on queue. I noted here again my link didn't work, so just take out the extra on the link and just put the domain name in. And I did find here somewhere, let's have a look at corporate functions. There we go. And here's all your menus. So off these menus, so you can have a cocktail menu, seated dinner menu, and it'll just bring up some costs that you can use in working out how much it's going to cost you to provide food and to your guests. Okay, and the last one is printing. Now this link here again doesn't work. I apologise for all of this. I thought I updated them all, but I missed the printing one, and 2 of the other ones I put in actually don't work. So now with the printing, you might want to write this one down, digitalroom.com. And this is a US site, but with our dollar being nearly 1-to-1 on parity, so won't really affect us too much, and it's the best site I could find for pricing these sorts of things. So if we just go to something like posters, it gives you the different options for your posters. There's actually something else that I had. I have one there. Postcards. Pricing and delivery, and here it brings up the types of postcards. So let's have a look at posters again. Just make sure it does vinyl banners as well. Wonder if we go to there. Yep. So for posters, 50 plus, however much, and it gives you a price. So there we go. You can use that to price your print costs, or any other site that you can find to give you a basic idea of how much your printing is going to cost you. Alright, so where does that leave us now? We've gone through printing. Don't know why this is taking so long. Alright, so then we're down to labour and other production costs. Just, if most of us work in the hospitality industry when we're trying to fund our university studies and things, so you have a fair idea of what is the actual labour costs. Make sure that you use your include on costs as per what your text says, and just use a reasonable figure. And the last thing to note here is that when we're valuing items that we produce on behalf of the sponsor, we always add a cost plus value. So for the hard items like signs and etc., we just use 10 to 20%, and this will become clearer when we build the inventory, which I'll do in the next video. And hospitality items, we can crank that up a bit to 50 or 70% cost plus. And as a final note, on this section, we do the advertising sponsors within your event. Here we use equation number 2 again. We have our CPM values here that I've given you, and you then just use equation 2 to calculate the value. So prime signage, $25 CPM times the number of impressions at the event divided by 1,000 will give us our total advertising value. Now, most of these things, here we go. So this should cover most of your broadcasting within your event. Again, if it's not there, just use a CPM that's in line with these kinds of numbers that you've been given. As well, if you want to create 4, 5, 6 different tiers of signage costings, use 25 as your top one, and then maybe have a 20, a 15, a 10, and a 5. However you want to do it, but that's sort of like your top level. $60 for programs and brochures and the like. And in broadcasting, we use these 2 numbers here. So therefore, with all of that information, you should be able to calculate a cost and a value for all the assets in your inventory of assets. So we can now move on to actually putting this inventory together in our next video.